Okay, let's continue our lesson today. It's about neurons. So neurons, the structure of neurons is like this. Okay. Neurons have a nucleus inside which control the body activities. Okay, this area we call it as cell body. Okay. So because the cell body contain nucleus, therefore the function is to control neuron activities. Okay. This one is the dendrite. It receives impulse and send it towards cell body. That means the flow of the impulse is like this. At the end of the dendrite is the other neuron or sensory organ that produce impulse. So impulse then transmitted through dendrite and also dendron. Okay, what is the differences between dendrite and dendron? Dendrite is much thinner. Okay, lebih nipis. While dendron is much thicker, lebih tebal. So kalau jaringan-jaringan halus ni, smallest fiber ni we call it as dendrite. Yang lebih tebal kita bagi sebagai dendron. Okay, kita turun bawah. We go downwards. Okay, after the impulse go through the cell bodies, it will enter the axon. Ni adalah axon. Function of axon is to transmit impulse away from the cell body. Okay, axon is surrounded by myelin sheath. It is made of fat, so it is acting as insulator. Okay, so what is the function of myelin sheath? Yang warna biru ni Okay, the myelin sheath, the function is to protect the nerve fiber and also to supply nutrient to the axon. Now, in between the myelin sheath, you see there's empty spaces. So these empty spaces we call it as nodes of Ranvier. Okay, the function of nodes of Ranvier is to increase the speed of impulse transmission. Okay, at the end of the axon, there are axon terminal, and then the bumper, apa kawasan bonjol ni, okay, kita panggil sebagai synapse. Okay, boleh? Okay, next. We look at types of neuron. There are 3 types of neuron. The first one is the afferent neuron. Okay, ingat A, B, C, D, E. So mesti mula dengan huruf A, afferent neuron. Second one is efferent neuron. The third one is interneuron. Okay, kamu dah dengar pasal afferent dengan efferent neuron ni sebelum ni. So kita ada punya structure. Afferent neuron, the cell body located in the middle. Okay, dia punya badan sel dia berada kat tengah-tengah. Cell body berada kat tengah-tengah. So this is the dendrite. This is the axon. Okay, this is the receptor. That means afferent neuron receive impulse from the receptor. Okay. Yeah. This is the afferent neuron, also known as the motor neuron. Why we call it as motor neuron? Because it is connected to the receptor and give response. It connected to effector and give response. Okay, the cell body for efferent neuron located at the end of the neuron. So this is the cell body, dendrite, dendron, and this is the axon. Okay, last one is the interneuron. Interneuron, you see, dia ada cell body sahaja, smaller axon and smaller dendrite and neuron. Okay, dia tak panjang. Okay, macam ni dia ada dendrite yang panjang, axon yang panjang. Ni axon panjang, dendrite pendek. While this one, dendrite pendek, axon pun pendek. So interneuron you can find it in the brain. Okay, jumpa dia dalam otak. Boleh? Okay, dia punya transmission starting from receptor, afferent neuron, and then jump to interneuron that are located in the central nervous system, either brain or spinal cord, and then efferent neuron. Lastly, it will go to the effector, that are the muscles and also the glands. Okay, now the conclusion is like this. The stimulus will will be detected by the receptor. Receptor are the sensory organ. Okay, the receptor will produce nerve impulse and transmit it through afferent neuron towards the central nervous system. Remember, central nervous system is the brain and also the spinal cord. Okay, inside the central nervous system, we found interneuron. Okay, especially in the grey matter in the spinal cord. And then from central nervous system, the central nervous system will interpret. Okay, look at this one yang dah belajar sebelum ni. Kita dah belajar sebelum ni. Okay, next efferent neuron. And then efferent neuron transmit the instruction in form of impulse from the central nervous system to the effector. Effector is the muscles and also the gland. And then the effector will give out response. Now we look at what happened in between the neurons. Okay. In between interneuron or motor efferent neuron and interneuron, we will find this area. We call it as synapse. Okay, what happened is if the nerve impulse from the axon will receive at the end of the axon terminal. Okay, so the impulse will be changed into the neurotransmitter. Okay, change into the neurotransmitter, and this movement is in one direction. Okay, so this require energy, so that's why you found lots of mitochondria at the axon terminal. Okay, the process of changing nerve impulse into the neurotransmitter require large amount of energy. Okay, now the impulse now change into neurotransmitter, for example acetylcholine and also noradrenaline. Okay, now the neurotransmitter will be transported in a transport vesicle and released at the end of the axon terminal. It's similar to the process of releasing extracellular enzyme, if you remember. Okay, so the synapse then, the neurotransmitter then release outside, and then it will really accept by the receptor at the end of the dendrite. Okay, neurotransmitter tadi akan dikesan oleh reseptor, diterima oleh reseptor pada hujung dendrite yang neuron satu lagi. Okay, now this receptor will convert the neurotransmitter into new nerve impulse and transported through that new neuron. Okay, so what happens if you are taking any drugs? That drugs will block this receptor, causing the dendrite not to receive any instruction from the neuron before. Okay, that's why people who are taking drugs yang mengambil dadah secara berbahaya, selalunya diorang akan they have delay in receive external stimulus. Okay, they have delay. Sometimes they don't know what happened because they didn't receive the neurotransmitter. Their neurons didn't receive any neurotransmitter. Okay, now we look at this diagram. Okay, it looks like this. Dia ada pump. Okay, reuptake pump. So mitochondria transmit the nerve impulse into the neurotransmitter in a transport vesicle. Release out, received by the receptor from other neuron. So this area we call it as synaptic cleft. Okay, ruang synapse antara dua neuron. Okay, boleh?